Hey guys, welcome to Hook with Anime. If you like the video, make sure to subscribe to my channel. Let's begin. It was a warm, starry night as Naruto and Sasuke, who had done some sparring, had decided to sit under one of the trees in Training Ground 7, and just chop it up with one another. I'm telling you, Sasuke, if I'm put on a team with those two idiots, I'm going to ducking scream, Naruto said in hopes that he wouldn't be put on a team with his siblings. I honestly wouldn't blame you if you did. Every day we are in a classroom with those two. Is another migraine waiting to happen? How do you even put up with them? Sasuke wondered. Either training until I can't feel my hands and legs, or I just start tinkering with machinery and seeing what cool stuff I can make. Naruto replied with a shrug of his shoulders. Honestly, if it weren't for either of those things, I would have gone mad by now, from how much they keep ducking with me. Naruto added, knowing that if it weren't for his strength and martial arts training as well as his love of building machines, he'd go insane. Considering that next to Kiba and your brother, you are the most physically dominant in our class when it comes to brute strength, Sasuke remarked at the insane brute strength his longtime friend possessed. Of course I am. Unlike those two idiots, I don't need a giant fox to roid me out. Besides, I gotta make sure I can keep up with the main man. When we finally get our headbands, Naruto said in excitement of the day he'd earn his headband.
That being said, I wouldn't get too ahead of myself. Those two are being trained by three of the greatest shinobi to ever do it, Naruto. So while I appreciate your confidence, there's still a pretty decent gap between them and you. That's not even forgetting the fact that thanks to the Nine Tails, you can't exactly pull off the same caliber of jutsu as them. Sasuke reminded his longtime friend.
Yeah, I know, man, but at least I know that I have a decent chance at beating them. I mean, Grandpa Dan and your people have been nice enough to help me out, so that's gotta account for something. Naruto replied, knowing that he had at least some chance against them. That is a fair point. Between Obito, Lady Tsunade's husband, and Lady Tsunade's daughter, your taijutsu is rather fearsome.
However, and I cannot stress this enough, Naruto, do not get in over your head when and if you fight them. There's only so many times you can get lucky, and we both know how much a vicious asshole your brother is. Sasuke said, knowing that while Naruto had had help to beef up his taijutsu skills in order to compensate for his inability with ninjutsu, that his siblings were still very much threats.
Believe me, I know, but there's still a year left to go before we graduate. By then, and with whatever I can make out of some scrap metal, and whatever I can make for halfway decent machines and ninja tools, I should be able to stand a decent chance against them. It may not be much once they bust out the Nine Tails and go crazy on me, but at least it'll be something. Naruto replied, with his voice having much more realism in the face of the number of cards stacked in both Hei's and Naoya's favor. Still, even you gotta admit that one of these days that either one of us can beat the odds and get super strong. I mean, if Grandpa Dan could go from being some random ass nobody, to one of the strongest other than Pervy Sage, then I'd like to think that I can make it there too. I just gotta keep going until I do. Naruto said in hopes of being able to come close to the greatness of Tsunade's husband. I'm sure you will, Naruto. For now, just remember to keep your head to the ground. The very last thing I need is to have my best friend get himself in trouble because he had a big head. After all, our plans to one day make this village something special can't happen without you in it. Sasuke told Naruto, who let a smile cross his face. Don't worry, I'm not going anywhere anytime soon. Besides, once we get to where we need to be, especially after I climb the ducking mountain that is my siblings in that power gap we got going on, then we're gonna make this place awesome, Sasuke, and I'm talking about ships that can fly into the stars, weapons that can make summons look like a thing of the past, and take our village from being just the best amongst the other 5, but the best one ever. Oh, I can see it now. My main man Sasuke is the first Uchiha to be Hokage in making us the strongest village ever, and myself making Konoha a whole-ass technological marvel. It's gonna be great. Naruto said with the bravado in his voice roaring back to life with a vengeance. I'm happy to be on board with your plans. Being the first Uchiha to be Hokage does have a nice ring to it, Sasuke said to the blonde beside him as he imagined himself as being the 5th or 6th Hokage leading his clan and the village to greatness. Thanks a ton for the support, man, although, if I could trade my dickhead brother and sister in for you, That would be fantastic, Naruto replied. That's more than fair. I would be stellar company to have, Sasuke said back before he saw something in the night sky. Whatcha looking at, Sasuke? Naruto asked the Uchiha. That. It's some kind of shooting star or comet. Sasuke answered back, noting the bright azure-colored light in the sky. Sasuke, I'm no astronomer, but I'm pretty sure comets don't move super fast or get huge as shit, Naruto said as he saw the comet, shooting star rapidly approaching and getting bigger. The two, seeing the bright azure light growing closer towards them, made the wise decision to run and get the hell out of Dodge before it crashed down and turned them into bloody pastes. The comet crashed into where they once were with the force of an exploding tag that shook the ground around them with great force.
The smoke and debris cleared to reveal to the two boys a metallic black and bright blue pod the size of a small child, that looked like something out of those futuristic movies Naruto liked to see in the theaters. With Naruto being the first to venture towards it as the pop, once he was within arm's distance of it, opened up to reveal an object within it, which was a royal blue gauntlet with a black dial that was surrounded by a golden rim, that had a glowing neon blue hourglass from within it.
Naruto, in his curiosity, reached out to grab the gauntlet and soon slid it onto his right arm, where it proceeded to morph and fit itself snugly around his arm, and further glow with a bright blue light as it began to calibrate itself and DNA lock to him. Calibration completed. Playlist randomization has now been completed. Access to 12 aliens is now available, the Ultimatrix told him in a resounding yet mechanized baritone voice before a hologram of a strange creature appeared. Naruto, what the hell did you just do? Sasuke inquired to his longtime friend. I don't know, but I got access to some aliens apparently, Naruto said as he began scrolling through the aliens available. Well, I might as well see what they're all about then. This one looks awesome, Naruto added as he saw one that looked cool to him and pressed down on the hologram of it. Naruto, why? Sasuke tried to say before the blonde teen was engulfed in deep blue light. Once the bright sapphire-colored light died down, Sasuke stood in utter shock and surprise at the fact that he was no longer looking at the blonde-haired and blue-eyed teen that was his friend for over a decade, with him taking the form of a 2 meters tall humanoid made of dark navy volcanic rock and brilliant sapphire-colored flame and plasma, his hands being 4-fingered claws of fiery plasma, while his feet were 3-toed and digitigrade like some kind of demonic velociraptor. His face wreathed in a mane of brilliant flame that went to his mid-back, which in itself looked like the face of a fiery Oni if its ghoulish appearance was anything to go by, and lastly was the Ultimatrix which lay on its sternum. You all good, Sasuke? You look like you've seen a ghost, Naruto asked, unaware of his transformed state. A ghost? No, the fact that you look like nightmare fuel, yes, Sasuke answered back. What are you talking about? Never mind, I see your point, Naruto replied as he did a once-over at his new state of being. Well, at least I look awesome, and get superpowers on top of it, Naruto added as he conjured forth and began to play with a sphere of flame. That being said, with the fact that you no doubt have power over flame, given your transformation, I would say you use them to get rid of whatever that is. The last thing we need are Anbu or your parents finding that here, Sasuke said, gesturing to the pod the Ultimatrix came in. Way ahead of you. Let's see if I can get this thing taken care of in one shot. By the way, you may want to stand back. The last thing I'd want is for you to get incinerated, because I wasn't careful, Naruto said back, and with a casual wave of his hand a stream of intense flame rocketed forth and in a millisecond reduced it to ash. Damn, I didn't even try and I turned that sucker into an ash pile. I wonder what would happen if I actually tried, Naruto remarked to himself in amazement. Good shot, Naruto, Sasuke replied. Thanks, Naruto replied as he pressed on the Ultimatrix and in the same blue light turned back to normal. So now that you can turn into 11 of these forms, from what that device said, what are you going to do now? Sasuke inquired the Ultimatrix wielder. First things first, you and I are the only people who are gonna know about this. The last thing I need are my parents, my dickhead siblings, pervy sage, or Kakashi knowing about this. I am not trying to play 20 questions with them about this, Naruto answered back. Anyone else that you want this kept secret from? Sasuke asked. Until I know more about what I can do with this, I don't want your folks or Itachi to know about this either. No offense to your brother, but he is the last person I trust with this information, Naruto told the raven-haired youth. While Itachi was usually from the now shape-shifting blonde's experience a pretty chilled-out guy and a rather nice individual, Naruto knew full well that if he were to tell him about the Ultimatrix and his newfound ability to turn into a dozen aliens, that his father would hear of this information within minutes of being told, due to the fact that anything that concerns Konoha in either what could benefit or harm it, Itachi would immediately inform the Hokage of, and as such made him an absolute hell no on Naruto's list of people to tell about it. That is a wise decision to make concerning Itachi. Even I know it would be a horrible decision to trust him with information like this, Sasuke said in agreement with Naruto. Other than that, we keep this shit airtight as far as anyone knowing about it, until I'm ready to show off what I'm capable of with this. Then you are the only other person that can ever know about this, Naruto replied. Don't worry, Naruto. Your secret is safe with me, Sasuke swore to the blonde. That is wonderful, Sasuke. That being said, let's get to your house and eat something, Naruto said as from there the two headed off to the Uchiha compound. 1 week later, March 26, 996 SE, 4:45 p.m., 17 miles outside of Konoha. It was a little over a week later as Naruto was with Sasuke, where after telling the Sasuke's parents and his father whilst he was doing paperwork that he was gonna do some training with Sasuke, that they ventured a bit a ways from the village to do so, with Sasuke keeping watch as Naruto was training with one of his aliens that he named Crystal Fist. I can definitely get used to using this one. Who would have thought that having crystal powers would be this dope? Crystal Fist said after slicing a tree in half with his right arm that he turned into a crystalline battle axe. For this one we can definitely say that his defensive capabilities are rather strong, seeing as how I hit it with my strongest jutsu, and it barely left a dent in it. Sasuke noted at the fact that Crystal Fist's walls withstood a B-rank jutsu and left only modest scorch marks on it. This is definitely gonna come in handy if we fight some big bad missing ninja, Crystal Fist spoke as he turned his arm back to normal. Just have them try to fire off some super awesome mega jutsu. Then right when it's about to go off, trap them in a wall made of crystal and they get ducked up at ground zero of their own attack. Now that would be epic, Crystal Fist added at the thought of doing so. That would be an incredibly viable tactic, Naruto. After all, who would see coming a crystalline wall erupting from the earth that can potentially hold back even S-rank jutsu? Sasuke remarked while Crystal Fist created a crude construct of a python the size of a semi-truck. Not to mention that on offense, this guy's shit is awesome. Just check this out. Crystal Fist spoke as he directed his construct with a flourish of his hand. With that motion, the serpentine construct lanced forth and destroyed several thick oak trees with such force they splintered on impact. The crystalline construct only stopping once it went halfway through the 11th tree in question and turned it into soccer ball-sized hunks of wood and sawdust. The Petrosapien recalling the construct after it nearly sundered the 12th one in tearing it nearly in half, as both stood in amazement of how in a single stroke the Ultimatrix wielder was able to do a rather hefty amount of damage.
I'm not going to lie to you. That was absolutely astounding to witness, Sasuke said in minor awe of what he witnessed.
Just think, that this is only with a couple days of me dicking around. Imagine what I'm gonna be capable of in a few months' time, or even a year at that. Crystal Fist replied, his mind swarming with all of the possibilities of what his powers could do in the encroaching future.
If that was anything to go by, then I have no doubt that you're gonna be capable of outright outlandishly powerful things. This isn't even accounting for the fact that you have the mind of mad genius, Sasuke said back whilst the Ultimatrix wielder turned back to his human form.
You damn sure aren't wrong about that. I have so many ideas for what I can do with all of my alien forms. The possibilities are almost infinite at what I can do with the combinations of what I have at my disposal. Naruto spoke, a eccentric and almost mad grin coming across his face. That brings up another question to think about, Naruto, Sasuke said as he motioned for Naruto to follow him. What are you getting at, Sasuke? Naruto asked as they traversed through the forests. What I'm trying to get at is that since there are aliens, plural, that you can access, does this mean that there are more than just 12 at your disposal? Are there 100, 1,000, maybe 10,000 you can access? If that is the case, Then I think that you're just scraping the surface of what you can do with that thing. Sasuke answered back. I have been thinking about that too. Naruto replied as he looked down at the gauntlet. Even with the aliens I can turn into now, I know that there are legions more that I can turn into. All I have to do is find a way to unlock them. Once I do that, then the power and versatility I will possess will be enough to render what my siblings have obsolete. Naruto added as his grin returned wider than ever at the thought. You really think that whatever aliens are in there can outstrip a Jinchuriki's power? Especially when we're talking about power that belongs to the nine-tailed fox? Sasuke inquired skeptically. Of course I do. We're talking about the fact that I can turn into otherworldly creatures. Creatures, mind you, that have abilities that I've barely just begun to understand. So by that alone, I have complete confidence that I can outstrip the meager amount of power they can call upon. Naruto answered back with a confidence that could uppercut Gamabunta into unconsciousness. Plus, Sasuke, this is my siblings we're talking about. They aren't like those Jinchuriki from Kumo who have their tailed beast's power at their full disposal. Heck, both of them can hardly handle 2 tails of that fuzzball. Meanwhile, I can do stuff like this with barely a week of messing around with Crystal Fist. I'm pretty sure that by the time I show these guys off, they won't have a chance. Naruto added in seeing his aliens as something far greater than what his siblings could pull off with the meager power they could summon from the 9 tails. If that is the case, then you are going to need some far sturdier than forests to train in. If you are capable of turning into these aliens, who have that level of power, then I suggest looking into something or somewhere that can withstand being the target of your practicing your transformations. Sasuke told the Ultimatrix wielder who shared a look agreement with the Uchiha. You're right about that. But unless I want to spill my secret to my father, in order to get an adequate enough training area, then I will have to settle for having a career in deforestation. Naruto replied while silently cursing that fact to himself. Look at it this way. We have a little over a year until we graduate from the academy, so we have until then to figure that out. In the meantime, we continue to keep this between us and train. Sasuke told the Ultimatrix wielder. You always know what to say, don't you? Naruto said as Sasuke gave a wry smirk. Of course I do. Granted I am not all-knowing and clairvoyant. However, I know that we have plenty of time on our hands to do what we want. Sasuke replied in absolute certainty of that fact. Fair enough. In the meantime, I can start putting some of these alien forms to good use. After all, 2 of these are really great for making some of the ideas I've had for machines to build a reality. Naruto spoke ecstatic at the notion he could build machines and gadgets he thought would only exist in the pages of a notebook. If you do come up with some outlandishly fantastic invention or gadget, all I ask is that I am able to have some of them, Sasuke requested. Of course. You're my best friend after all. I would feel like a dick if I didn't make you something. As a matter of fact, the moment we make Genin, I'm gonna do whatever I can to make you something really kick-ass. Naruto told the Uchiha, as his grin turned into a smile. Do you really mean it? Sasuke asked. I do. After all, what are best friends for? Naruto answered back as he extended a hand to bump fists with. Sasuke quickly returned the fist bump as the 2 continued on their way back towards Konoha. Yet as the 2 of them continued on their trek back to their home, a lone root agent was following close behind them. Said root agent had also been watching the 2 on orders of his master in Danzo in part because of who they were connected to and as being part of the next generation of promising shinobi, and as they followed them back, one lone thought was on their mind. So the 4th Hokage's son is capable of transforming into these aliens. Lord Danzo will most certainly be interested in this. The root agent noted to themselves as they continued to follow after Naruto and Sasuke. 3 days later, March 29, 996 SE, 4:42 p.m., Konoha. It was the following Tuesday as Naruto decided to visit with his granny Tsunade as after hanging out and sparring with Sasuke, he figured now was as good as any to visit with the blonde Sannin. Thanks again for letting me come over, Grandma. Naruto said while Tsunade poured herself some tequila and Naruto some lemonade. Between what you have to deal with at the academy and at home, I figured it wouldn't hurt for you to come over. Tsunade said back in knowing that her godson's life was a bit of a mess. So, tell me what's on your mind. After how much Minato and Kushina have been screwing up since they listened to Jiraiya, I figured that it has to be a mountain's worth of crap to deal with. Tsunade spoke as she sat at the nearby table with her fellow blonde. Where do you want to start? Good stuff or stuff that makes me want to scream? Naruto asked. Let's start with how things are going great for you. That sounds a lot more pleasant than the usual load of crap you have to deal with, Tsunade said as Naruto downed his glass in a single go. For starters, with all of the odd jobs I do around the village, I should have enough money to get my own place by this May. Naruto replied with a modest yet excited smile gracing his face. That's wonderful news, Naruto, Tsunade said as her fellow blonde's smile widened a bit. You're telling me, Grandma, finally, after having to deal with my crap house of family and all their antics, I can finally be away from them and their bullshit? Naruto replied as while Tsunade poured him another glass. Plus I'm just happy that after 2 years of saving up my money, I'm super close to getting my own place. Naruto added with a bit of personal pride in himself for having worked his ass off to save up for a place of his own. I'm proud of you too. Also, if you ever need anything just say something, it doesn't matter if it's furniture, plates, silverware, or anything else under the sun, then feel free to come to me about it. It's what family is for. Tsunade told her godson before taking a drink out of her shot glass. Oh, trust me, I'm gonna need your help once I start moving in. I may be pretty awesome, but there's only so much I can do by myself, Naruto responded. Now here's the big question I have to ask. When are you going to tell Minato and Kushina you're moving out? Tsunade asked the Ultimatrix wielder. Oh, that. I'll let them figure that one out on their own, Naruto answered back to the slug Sanin. Are you sure that is a good idea? Tsunade questioned. I dunno. But between what they have going on, with father being the Hokage, mom being an active Jonin, on top of training Naoya and Hayase to basically be the prophesied super soldiers, like Pervy Sage says they are, then I sincerely doubt that they'll have the time for me to tell them, Naruto replied. Damn. When you put it like that, it reminds me how shitty things have gotten. I still can't believe they let Jiraiya get away with basically having a prophecy drive a wedge between you all, Tsunade said, still angry at her teammate for putting so much stock in a idiotic prophecy. Well, I'm not really mad at him for it. Plus it was bound to happen anyways, considering the fact that my brother and sister hold one of the strongest creatures to exist. The prophecy was just an excuse for them to hard focus on them, so they wouldn't get caught lacking against someone like them, Naruto replied as he knocked back 2 tequila shots. So am I annoyed that I got shelved to the sidelines by my own parents? Of course, who wouldn't be? Am I pissed at them for it? No, because them putting so much focus on them was gonna happen sooner or later. It just happened to be sooner rather than later, Naruto added as he took his 5th shot of liquor. The Ultimatrix wielder didn't hold any hate, anger, or rage in his heart towards his parents for going along with the prophecy, since he knew that beyond them believing in his sibling being the chosen ones destined to bring peace to the nations, that the motive beyond it, to train them as living weapons of mass destruction to use against the enemies of the village, was one he could understand from a practical point of view. The prophecy was just window dressing, so they wouldn't have to tell them they're being trained to be super soldiers to aim at their enemies. Huh, you were actually taking this a lot better than what I thought you would have for all these years, Tsunade said as the younger blonde let out a small burp. It's either I take this on the chin and keep it moving, or I can be a whiny little prick about it. I just happened to chose the one where I can keep going with my life, Naruto replied before straightening himself out. But enough about that. Since I'd like to focus on other things like how I'm in a 3-way tie with Sasuke and Naoya for being the best at taijutsu in the academy, Naruto spoke, getting a smirk from Tsunade at this information. Since I am a gambling woman, I imagine your brother isn't happy about that, Tsunade asked as a semi-drunken Naruto gave a mirthful grin. Yup. That redhead douchebag is mad as hell that I'm his equal at something. Almost every other day, whether we're at home or at the academy, he wants to challenge me to a fight, Naruto answered back as Tsunade drank the last of her shot. He does know you have 30 pounds on him. What does he think is going to happen when you can throw him around like a rag doll? Tsunade asked, knowing that her godson was nearing 190 pounds if his last physical was anything to go by. It's not like I'd have to try that hard either, Considering that with all the strength training I do when I'm not hanging out with Sasuke, I'm pretty sure I could bend a sword like a pretzel if I really wanted to. Naruto answered back in an example of his brute strength. With how strong you are, I'm surprised you haven't beaten him in a taijutsu match. Tsunade spoke as both blondes took another shot. Don't get me wrong, I stand a decent chance at beating him, thanks to Grandpa and everyone. However, I know that every time I come close to beating him or in the rare occasion I do beat him that he throws a pissy fit about it. I still remember the last time I managed to beat him, dickhead just about tore my shoulder out of my socket. Naruto said back, although the small pause was noted by Tsunade. How could I forget the last time Naruto had to deal with one of Naoya's tantrums about him being better? Tsunade remarked at having to relocate Naruto's right shoulder from a furious Naoya that had been hopped up on Nine Tails chakra. I swear one of the worst things that your parents did with them was never teaching them how to lose. Tsunade said, knowing that the twins absolutely hated to lose. When they get ducked up on a mission, because they don't know how to just take an L, then that's on them. Meanwhile, I'm gonna laugh my ass off while theirs is getting kicked to high hell. Naruto said with a sardonic chuckle coming from him, picturing them getting their shit rocked. If you get put on a team with them, which we both know you will, because I sincerely doubt Minato and Kushina are going to let something like that pass them by, then I want you to do something for me. Tsunade requested. Sure. What do you want me to do? Naruto asked. If you have the chance to do so, then I want you to embarrass those two in a fight. Once you become genin. Tsunade answered, getting the younger blonde's interest. If those two are going to be genin, and represent my grandfather's home, then I want them humbled so they aren't acting like jackasses with a god complex. So once you get that headband, do whatever you want to give them a reality check. Tsunade told her godson, whose expression turned into a more pugnacious one. I was gonna do that before, so I could knock them off their high horses, but since you're giving me the green light to rock 'em in their shit, then hell yes am I gonna give it to them. Naruto replied. Thank you for doing this. I may not be able to do it, since I'm stuck running the hospital with Shizune. On top of making sure our medical ninja are properly trained for field missions. However, I know that my awesome godson can do the job for me. Tsunade said back with a smile that was matched by the Ultimatrix wielder. Don't worry, Grandma. I've got you covered and then some. Naruto swore to the slug Sanin. Great. Now how about you help me finish this bottle, and we can talk about the bullshit that makes you want to scream your head off. Tsunade said as she refilled their shot glasses. Sounds great to me. Naruto replied. From there the two spent the next nearly 2 hours chopping it up with each other, from the source of Naruto's headaches being his siblings, and they're being touted as the next heroes of Konoha thanks to Jiraiya. To talking of what plans Naruto had for the future, anyone that the teenage blonde fancied in his soon-to-be graduating class, among other things, before our shapeshifting tinkerer decided to take his leave. But not before he got a hug and goodbye from the slug Sanin, as well as her giving him a bit of spending money to go and do whatever he wanted for the rest of the evening. Yet as he walked off in good spirits, one of the few things on his mind was of what he could soon do once he got his headband and chance to prove himself as a soldier of the village. Once I get a better handle on these aliens, and get some missions on my belt, then nobody is gonna stop me from being awesome, Naruto said to himself as he continued his walk home. The next day, March 30th 996 SE, Route HQ, 12:16 p.m. It was the following day later, as Danzo had gotten the rather interesting report, as it were, from the route operative he had to watch over Naruto and Sasuke, and suffice it to say he was very much intrigued at what this meant. To say that this is an interesting development would be a severe understatement. Danzo spoke as he looked to Fu. Indeed, from what I have seen through the memories of our agent, Lord 4Th's eldest is indeed capable of transforming into these aliens, as he calls them. The power of what he has shown so far is truly fascinating. Fu replied, still in surprise and disbelief from what he saw. Agreed, such power shouldn't go to waste. Especially when it belongs to one of the most promising shinobi of the current generation. Danzo said, in seeing the boundless potential that Naruto had. The question now remains of what we are to do about him. Seeing as how with what was reported, and what I witnessed, that this is something that can't be ignored, Fu wondered. That is simple, Fu. Once the current semester for the academy ends, we will call him to be summoned for recruitment. This way we can do this at the most opportune time imaginable. Danzo replied in knowing that said time was the best to recruit the Ultimatrix wielder. Of course, and while I have no doubt that we can welcome him into the fold. Do you think he will agree to become part of our organization? Fu questioned. I know for a fact that he will accept. After all, we hold the cards to have him agree to do so. From offering the training facilities he needs, missions to go on to hone his skills, and most of all Fu. We can offer him chances at the greatness that he desires. Which is far more than he will gain from being stuck in a genin squad under whatever jonin that Minato assigns him. Danzo answered back with full confidence. The Warhawk knew that with all of the many resources he had at his disposal, he would be assured to gain Naruto as another soldier in his ranks. Someone that he knew he had to have due in part to the potential he had, in tandem with his possession of the Ultimatrix. Of course, Lord Danzo. Furthermore, how will we be assessing his skill set? Fu inquired. We will do this in two parts. One will be to test his overall abilities in order to see where he ranks in overall ability. The other will be to see how he functions in a mission setting. This way we will be able to accurately assess him as an asset. Danzo told the Yamanaka. Understood, sir. Fu responded. Now remains the question of whom we will have with Minato's children once they become genin. We cannot allow for all three of them to become a team together. Such a thing is simply asking for a squad that is built to self-destruct. Danzo wondered to himself while knowing full well of the disaster that would happen if all three Uzumakis were on a team together. I concur, while they may be related by blood. That is the only thing they have that binds them together. Beyond that, those three on a team would be the most dysfunctional team to exist since Lord Jiraiya was a genin. Fu remarked, as Danzo chuckled at the memories of Hirazen's time as a Jonin sensei. How could I forget those times? I once envied Hirazen about being able to train his own genin. However, after seeing the utter mess he had to put up with, my jealousy in that regard was quickly lost. How he was able to train them to become the revered shinobi they are, I will never know. Danzo replied in having never understood how Hirazen managed those three into being the Sannin. Then again, if I had to be a Jonin sensei to a trio of imbeciles, I would probably lose my mind. Danzo noted to himself. If I may break you from your thoughts, Lord Danzo. I have an idea on how we can use our operatives in this instance, Fu said. Who do you have in mind? Danzo asked. I suggest that we use Sai and your granddaughter, for this endeavor. Fu answered back. Interesting choices. Would you mind explaining your reasoning? Danzo questioned, curious to where this was going. Simple, Sai while somewhat socially inept is a good choice. He is within their age range, one of our more competent agents, and his use of ink-based ninjutsu would be enough to contend with Hayase and Naoya Uzumaki. I would include Naruto in this conversation, but due to us not knowing the full scope of his abilities, I will leave my assessment of that once we know more of his abilities. Fu answered back. Fair enough. His skill with that particular ninjutsu, and seals in general, has turned him into one of our rising stars. Alongside my granddaughter of course. Which brings me as to why you think she would be useful in this endeavor. Danzo said back, his singular gaze fixed on the Yamanaka. Again, as I mentioned with Sai, she is one of our more competent agents. She shares your affinity for wind nature, as well as a potent affinity for water-style jutsu. Her kenjutsu skills are impressive, and could definitely make her more than a match for the Uzumakis. Furthermore, her physical capabilities in terms of strength and speed would allow her to keep up with Naruto while he is not transformed. Fu said as the one thing he would say about the Warhawk's granddaughter is that she was, to put it simply, a physical anomaly that could more than contend with the Uzumakis. The girl is basically a special Jonin in all but name, Fu added. Agreed. After all, if she is to one day lead Root as my successor, she needs to have every advantage possible, if she is to be strong enough for the task. Danzo replied in agreement. Now all that is to be done, is to have a few words with Minato. From there I can fall in a few favors, and our agents will be in the perfect position to make sure that things will not go to absolute hell. Danzo added. One other thing I would like to suggest, if I may continue to say my piece. Fu spoke. You may speak. Danzo responded, considering the still unknown capabilities that Naruto's transformations have. In addition to the possibility of them being stronger than or having abilities greater than the Jinchuriki. I would like to advise that we use his transformations to develop and create contingencies against Yamato and Heiase Uzumaki, Fu suggested before continuing. With the danger they present if they become too overwhelmed on a mission, or their emotional state rises to a critical point. They could go berserk with the Nine Tails power, and as such become a danger to clients and fellow Konoha shinobi on missions. As such, training him to be as a countermeasure against them, and aiding him to develop contingency plans, should they become compromised, or go berserk with the Nine Tails' power, is paramount, Fu said. This idea is one that I will heavily consider. While those two brats may be strong for their age, they also lack the emotional and mental discipline to wield the tailed beast's power. At least in a truly dangerous setting. Then the idea of having Naruto be trained as a counter to them is something I will not disregard. Danzo replied as his lone eye narrowed in thought at the fact. Considering that other than Kushina, Jiraiya and Minato, they had very little in the way of contingency plans should either Naoya or Heiase go berserk or an opponent compromise them with genjutsu, seals or some sort of bloodline. As such, the idea of having Naruto being trained as an anti-Jinchuriki agent was something advantageous to consider, seeing as how the Warhawk refused to rely on such a minute group of people, who wouldn't be readily available to handle the Uzumaki twins should things go awry. I am quite glad that you will take my advice into consideration. The last thing I or anyone else would want is for any of our comrades to be eviscerated in the field. All for the simple fact that those two little shits lack self-control and discipline. Fu spoke. I concur. However, if there is nothing else you wish to say, then you are dismissed until further notice, Danzo told the Yamanaka. There is nothing else I have to say or report to you, Lord Danzo. I am simply thankful that you had chosen me to give counsel on such an important matter. Fu responded. Of course. You are one of my most trusted soldiers, Danzo said before Fu soon left. Naruto Uzumaki, you have unexpectedly made yourself into an invaluable asset. I'm curious to see how far you will come once your potential is fully realized. Danzo said to himself, now highly interested to see just what the Ultimatrix wielder was capable of. It was nearly 1:45 in the afternoon as Naruto alongside Sasuke and his uncle Obito were now relaxing in the living room of Naruto's new house. Well, you actually did it, Naruto. I still can't believe you got a whole place to yourself. Obito spoke as a cheerful Naruto passed him and Sasuke some lemonade bottles. I know, right? It may not be all that, but at least it's pretty decent. The best part is I didn't have to pay so much, that I might as well have sold my kidneys to get this place. Naruto replied as he uncapped his bottle. Considering the price he got for a house that had 3 bedrooms, a kitchen, 2 bathrooms, a living room, and a basement that he planned on turning into a workshop area, Naruto was rather ecstatic to have his house. Even more so, when Granny Tsunade did him a huge favor in paying things off enough to where he wouldn't have to worry about paying the mortgage, of which was a huge load off of his wallet. I'm telling you guys, from here on out, your main man is gonna be going places. Now all I need is my headband, so I can start doing missions, and then it's all smooth sailing from there. Naruto added whilst both Uchihas uncapped their bottles and started drinking. Now that you have your own place, where do you go from here? Sasuke questioned. Probably finish getting everything set up. Get ready for our last year at the academy, and keep doing odd jobs around the village, some more or less the thing I've been doing. Naruto answered. By the way, how long do you think this is going to get kept secret from Minato-sensei and Mrs. Kushina? They are gonna find out about your new bachelor pad eventually. Obito asked, his scarred gaze turning towards his sensei's son. A few months, maybe till the end of the year if I'm lucky, Naruto told the Uchiha Jonin. One other thing, Naruto. How do you plan on preventing Naoya and Heiase from finding out where you live? Because those two are gonna eventually find out what's going on, and start looking around, Obito inquired. Between them trying to be the aces at the academy, training to be the chosen ones with mom, dad, and pervy sage, they are gonna be way too busy to care. Heck, even if they do try to start snooping around, then good luck, since this place is on the whole other side of the village, from where the house is. Naruto answered, knowing that even if they did find him that they'd be looking on the whole other half of Konoha for him. At least that problem is taken care of, for now, Sasuke said. Until then, I'm golden. Naruto replied as he took a large gulp of lemonade. Man, this is some damn good lemonade, Naruto thought. By the way, Obito, I heard that you were approved to become a Jonin sensei. Sasuke spoke as the older Uchiha turned towards him with a grin. Really? You actually got the position? Naruto asked in surprise. Yep. You two are looking at Konoha's newest Jonin sensei, Obito said whilst puffing his chest out in pride at the accomplishment. That's awesome, Uncle Obito. When are you gonna be getting your own squad? Naruto replied in cheer of this. Well, I'm not gonna take on any just yet. Because between the three of us, this year's batch absolutely sucks, Obito said back. Is it really that bad? I thought there would at least be a handful of standouts, Sasuke questioned. There are, but not enough to make me jump at the opportunity. That's why I'm waiting until next year, so I can try and have you two and whoever else is my students, Obito answered back. Wait a sec, you want us your students? Naruto questioned. Of course, I would. You two are the most talented prospects I've seen. Hell, I would be an idiot not to want to have you as my students, Obito said before taking another large gulp of his lemonade. Huh. I thought you would have taken on Heiase and Naoya as your students. I'm sure as shit Mom or Kakashi would in a heartbeat, Naruto said back, knowing the copy ninja would more than likely do so. I vibe with you a heck lot better than I ever would with the twins. Besides, those two rub me the wrong way. Obito spoke, his eyes narrowing at the fact that either one of the twins are sore losers. Don't remind me. I can't tell you how many times I've just wound up forfeiting a taijutsu match, or let Naoya win so he wouldn't throw a pissy fit about it. It's bad enough, I had to deal with him at home. The last thing I need was to hear him bitch and moan about me possibly being better than him. Naruto replied in disdain of always having to lower himself in order to avoid his brother's pissy fits. That isn't even counting how many times I have to deal with Heiase's pranks, just to get a rise out me. Every day, I get a little bit closer to smacking the shit out of her for them. Naruto remarked to himself over how many times he'd been on the receiving end of Heiase's pranks and jeers to get a reaction out of him. Everyone wonders why Naruto and I don't try to be friendly towards Naoya. It is because his ego makes him borderline unbearable to be near. I would rather drink vinegar and lie than have to be on a team with him, Sasuke added, in hating how arrogant and egotistical Yamato was. That right there is a major factor on why I don't want either of them as students. They may be pretty strong, but dealing with overpowered brats isn't worth the headache, Obito said, in seeing neither of the twins as worth the trouble. Well, when you're our sensei, I just hope we can be battling on dope-ass missions. Because, don't get me wrong, I'm fine with doing D ranks for some easy money. But going on a kick-ass mission just sounds like a ton of fun in general. Naruto requested in hopes of going on a cool-ass mission or two when he and Sasuke made genin. Don't worry. After a couple of months of our team getting its act together, then we'll go on a mission. Hopefully, if we play our cards right, we can be gifted a B rank mission at best, and at worst a C rank, but that's only if you guys can show that you're really the shit, Obito told them. With it being after his days in fighting the Third Shinobi War that Obito wasn't going to have any team of his go right to the wolves on a mission without being properly trained and prepared for any occasion. That was why until at least 3 to 4 months of solid training to improve themselves, would he allow them to go on a mission above D rank, as he refused to allow what happened to himself or what happened when Kakashi was forced to kill Rin to happen to his team, not when he had trained tirelessly to prevent such a thing. That sounds more than reasonable, Obito. I would rather wait and be prepared, then go on a mission and risk serious injury to myself, Sasuke said, happy that his fellow Uchiha was sensible enough to prepare for any situation. If you do become our Jonin sensei, then at the very least I know we will be in capable hands. All I ask is that we have to deal with my siblings for the least amount of time possible. Naruto spoke before downing his bottle of lemonade. I'll see what I can do, but I can't make any promises, Obito said before he stood up. Anyways, I'm gonna head out. I've got to report to Minato sensei in 15 minutes. Apparently, there's a super cool mission with my name on it, so I can't stay too long. Obito spoke as he dusted himself off. If that's the case, you want to grab lunch and then come back and finish this, Sasuke? Naruto replied as he looked over at the Uchiha beside him. Sounds fine to me. I could go for a bite to eat, Sasuke said back. If that's that, then I will see you two later, Obito said before he left the house via body flicker. Where do you want to get something to eat at, Naruto? Sasuke asked. I dunno. Let's walk around and see where we go from there, Naruto answered back as he hopped up to his feet and began heading out the back door. If you say so, Sasuke said as he followed the larger blonde. 4 days later, May 31, 996 SE, 2, 16 petameters, Konoha. It was a few days later as Naruto was doing some sketches for hoverboards to build himself and Sasuke, seeing as how he had the aliens to make it happen, that he might as well make such inventions a reality. Now all I have to do is figure out how fast I can make these things fly, and how to make them collapsible. Then we'll be in business, Naruto said to himself as he continued to work on the sketches of the hoverboards. What are you drawing, Naruto? Sasuke questioned as he continued walking over toward him. Oh hey, Sasuke. I'm just drawing up designs for hoverboards, Naruto replied. Hoverboards? What possible reason would need to design hoverboards for, much less use one? Sasuke questioned while the Ultimatrix user took out a silver and navy-colored pyramid. Just give me a moment, and I'll explain. I just need to make sure no one's gonna hear us, is all, Naruto said as he wound up the top of the metal pyramid twice before setting it down, before it emitted a faint pulse of energy. What did that thing just do? Sasuke asked. That thing is a silencing field, I made a week and a half ago. Thanks to it, we have the next half hour to talk freely. The last thing I want is anyone barging in on our conversation. Naruto answered back at the faint dome of azure light that radiated some 30 feet outwards. And this doesn't take any chakra to maintain? Sasuke questioned, trying to use his Sharingan to sense any chakra. Nope, it's completely battery-powered. All I gotta do is just pop this sucker out in some sunlight, and in about 2 hours, I can get up to a solid 5.5 hours of use, Naruto informed the Uchiha. It is honestly astonishing with what you can come with, Sasuke replied. Hey. When I said I wanted to come up with stuff, that's gonna change the game. I full-on meant that. We're gonna be shinobi, one day. Which means we gotta keep moving forward and always have the most up-to-date shit on our hands, Naruto said back. Since Naruto knew full well that if you wanted to succeed and stay ahead when you became a shinobi, then you didn't have to have any flashy jutsu or some over-the-top fighting style to be the best. What it meant to him was always having not only the equipment for the right job, but also making sure your gear was better than the rest, and combining that with tactics, technique, and superior firepower to get done what needed to be done for a mission. If you are making things like this, then I have no doubt that we will stay ahead of everyone, Sasuke remarked. Thanks, but this is just the prototype. Hopefully, the next model I make can extend the time to a full 9 hours, perhaps even double that if I'm lucky, Naruto told the Uchiha in hopes of improving it to that extent. I'll need is some help from Tech Goblin and Crabshocker to make this happen, and I could even make it go up to half a day. Maybe even make the range something bullshit like 200 or 300 feet one of these days, Naruto said to himself. Well, if we ever go on a stealth mission together, they definitely won't see us coming, Sasuke replied. Trust me, Sasuke. This isn't even a fraction of what I'm trying to get up to. Tell me, how do you feel about cloaking devices? Naruto asked the Uchiha. If they are anywhere half as good as this silencer you made, then go for it, Sasuke told him. Oh, trust me, it will be, Naruto said with an incredibly motivated grin. By the way, Naruto, have they found out about your new living arrangements yet? Sasuke questioned. Nope. They still don't notice, Naruto answered back. You would think that one of them would have found out by now. Then again, with your parents' duties, and the training that they undertake with Lord Jiraiya, it makes sense as to why they haven't, Sasuke said before realizing that they'd have little time to do so. Besides, I made something to buy me some time as well, Naruto told the Uchiha. What exactly did you do? Sasuke inquired. I used my aliens to build a dope sound system that'll make it seem like I'm still there. Whenever they want me to have lunch or dinner with them, it'll tell them something like, sorry, I'm gonna be helping the Yamanakas at the flower shop, or I'm going to hang out with Granny Tsunade, along with some other pre-recorded messages I made. So that should keep him busy, at least for a decent amount of time. Naruto answered back. HMPH. That's a pretty ingenious move to pull, Naruto. However, what are you going to do when they find out? Sasuke questioned. I'll keep it stupid simple on why I did what I did. There isn't any point in sugarcoating the truth from them. I might as well rip that band-aid off when the time comes. Naruto answered back. Good luck with that. When the day comes, they make a dramatic, woe is me, spectacle about what you've done. I will not envy what you will have to endure. Sasuke said, knowing full well that day would be a total shitshow. Trust me, I won't envy me either. But, I'm ready for the stupidity that's coming my way. I just hope it's later rather than sooner. Naruto replied. I think you have that backwards. Sasuke said with a bit of slight confusion in his voice. I meant what I said, Sasuke. Naruto responded, fair enough, but unless you want to train, or hang out today. What do you want to do for the rest of the day? Sasuke questioned the larger blonde. I figured you could help me get some new clothes. At the rate I'm growing, I'm gonna need some new clothes, plus a wardrobe change wouldn't hurt as well. Naruto answered back. I'm fine with that, as long as you aren't going to wear what Rock Lee and his sensei wear every day. Sasuke replied as Naruto visibly cringed at the thought of wearing those spandex nightmares. The day I decide to wear one of those, is the day I will have lost my goddamn mind. Which is why you have my full permission to kick me in the head if that ever happens. Naruto said before he reached over towards the silencer and punched in a 4-digit code to deactivate it. But, let's not think about that. Let's think about upgrading my wardrobe. Naruto said as he pocketed the silencer and his sketchbook in his satchel. Agreed. Was Sasuke's only reply before they headed out towards the nearest clothing store. 3 days later, June 3, 996 SE, Naruto's house, 3:03 p.m. It was a few days later as Naruto, who after doing some grocery shopping, had decided to do some tidying up around his house as Dash Raptor, and suffice to say had found a small bit of fun at doing literal speed cleaning as the alien in question. Thanks to my handy-dandy aliens, I don't have to waste too much tidying up. Dash Raptor noted after having finished sweeping up the kitchen and living room. All in under 15 minutes, man, this is awesome. Dash Raptor said to himself before turning back to his human form. Well, I've cleaned my house, done grocery shopping. Now all that's left to do is finish working on those hoverboards, and I'm in the clear. Naruto noted to himself before he heard a knock at the front door. Oh hey, Granny. Nice to see you, come on in. Naruto greeted his fellow blonde. Hey, Naruto. I figured that I'd stop by and make a surprise visit, and see your house. Tsunade told him. While that's great to hear and all, you did make sure you weren't followed, right? Not to sound like a major creeper, but I don't want anyone else knowing, and telling my folks about my place just yet. The last thing I need is them being on my ass about it, when I'm not fully set up just yet. Naruto asked the slug Sanin. Relax, kiddo. No one else, but you knows I'm here. Tsunade spoke as she let herself in. Phew, that's a relief. Here I thought, you got caught slipping and let some bitch-ass Jonin and Anbu follow you around. Naruto said back. I am one of the 3 legendary Sanin, and one of the greatest medics in history, so do you really think I would really be that off my game, to let a few Jonin get the drop on me? Tsunade snidely retorted. Touché, Granny, touché. Naruto replied, so tell me, Naruto. How've you been, since you moved out? Tsunade asked. I've been doing fantastic since I got the new place. I finally have a place all to myself. I can eat and go to sleep whenever I want, and the best part about it is, I can do whatever I want around here, and nobody can stop me. Naruto replied back ecstatic over his new living situation. So, honestly, I can say that everything is coming up Naruto, right now. Naruto added with a wide jubilant smile on his face. That's great to hear. I'm glad to see that you're doing okay. Tsunade said to a still jubilant Naruto. I'm doing better than just okay. I'm feeling on top of the world right now. Oh man, I honestly just can't say anything more than just how super excited I am to be on my own. Naruto replied. So what did you come by here for? I figured that you were busy at the hospital, or turning up at a casino. Naruto asked the slug Sanin. I just wanted to come here and see how everything is going over here. I might as well, since out of Kushina's brats, you are the only one I really like. Suande answered back. Those two really are a piece of work. Hell, I still can't believe those two idiots are supposed to bring peace to the world. I don't know what kind of weed that old-ass Toad was smoking, but whatever he was smoking. But I want some of that because it has to be some really good stuff, for them to think that. Naruto said, still wondering how a prophecy qualified his dickhead siblings to be saviors of the world. If I wasn't so irritated with Jiraiya, then I would definitely ask what that old fart of frog is smoking. To this day, I still can't believe he put all his cards on believing that a dumb-ass prophecy is gonna save the world. Tsunade replied bitterly. To be honest, Grandma, I'm surprised that Grandpa Dan never rocked him in his shit for going all in balls out on this stuff, Naruto said. He nearly beat the crap of Jiraiya, since that stupid prophecy messed up everything with your family. Luckily, Minato was there, otherwise, he would be writing his books with his arm in a sling. Tsunade told him. With Tsunade having considered it a miracle of chance that the fourth Hokage was there to prevent her husband from stomping the shit out of Jiraiya. Seeing as how if those two hadn't been there, then Tsunade would have had to heal her perverse teammate so he wouldn't be in a wheelchair, from what Dan had wanted to do to him in that state of intense fury. Too bad he didn't go through with it, because it would have been hilarious to see Gramps rock his shit, Naruto said. Believe me, Dan wanted to, but it was only thanks to whatever your father said, that he didn't, so I guess you can thank Minato for that, Tsunade replied. The one time he gets to be a savage, and Dad ruins it, duck, Naruto cursed. But there is some other good news I wanted to share with you, Tsunade said to her fellow blonde. What's the good news? Naruto asked. After Dan gets back from his latest mission, he's going to finally retire from active duty, Tsunade informed him. That's really great to hear. Don't get me wrong, I love that Grandpa is a total badass uber Jonin. But I'll be glad when he isn't going on mission after mission, Naruto said with relief that his grandpa would be getting out of the field. Trust me, Naruto. I'll be glad when he isn't on active duty either. After I nearly lost him in the war, I'm worried sick about him every time he goes out on a mission, so him coming home and staying safe this time around will make me feel a lot better. Tsunade replied in great relief that her husband of over a decade would be coming home safe. When is he gonna be coming back? Naruto asked with hardly contained excitement. In 2 maybe 2.5 weeks. By the way, I'm going to be planning a retirement party for him when he comes back. I was wanting to know if I could get your help with it, Tsunade answered back. I'd love to help out. Just tell me when you need me to swing by, and I'll do as much as I can, Naruto replied, fully on board. That's great to hear. But I'm gonna head out. I want everything to be perfect for when Dan comes back, Tsunade told her godson. Alright. I'll see you later, Grandma. Oh, and tell Shizune I said hi, Naruto said as he went in for a big hug that was returned by the Sannin. Don't worry, I will, Tsunade replied before she eventually departed from the premises. Now that she's gone, I can get back to work. Those hoverboards aren't gonna finish themselves, Naruto said to himself before heading down to the basement workshop. Then after that, I can get to work on my scrap guards. Now those are gonna look really freaking cool, Naruto spoke as he rushed to his basement in excitement of getting started. 2 days later, June 5, 996 SE, Uchiha Compound, 2, 10 petameters. The following Sunday came with a quickness as Naruto was over at the Uchiha compound with Sasuke, both teens engaging in some friendly sparring with each other to pass the time. How he hits this hard, I'll never understand, Sasuke remarked to himself as he felt his arm ache intensely after trying to parry one of Naruto's punches. Come on, Sasuke. You said you wanted to spar with me, right? Then let's get this started, Naruto exclaimed as he was in a combination of a high guard boxing stance and Muay Thai stance. Fair point, Naruto, Sasuke said as he and Naruto rushed after each other once more. Naruto attempted to land a knee bomb on Sasuke, who managed to redirect it away from himself and counter with a reverse roundhouse kick to the jaw that managed to budge Naruto a bit from his position, yet it did little to stop him from throwing a vicious overhand right towards Sasuke's sternum. Even with his immature Sharingan, Sasuke barely managed to evade the strike from connecting cleanly. Albeit it still grazing his ribs, yet this was just a distraction for the Ultimatrix to land a powerful right hook to his liver, that nearly made him go to his knees. From there the larger of the two nailed him with an uppercut to the upper abdomen, followed by a three-punch combination to his chest that just about knocked the wind out of his sails before a headbutt from Naruto smashed into his skull and had him staggering back. The larger blonde fired off a heavy right cross that thudded against Sasuke's ribs, yet the larger blonde had a follow-up right hook countered by a hook kick to the ribs, an uppercut elbow to the bottom jaw. Both fighters briefly broke off from one another and started circling each other once more like two predators ready to go for the other's throat, with Bright Azure meeting Bloodshine Ruby before they launched at each other in a brief yet intense exchange. Naruto withstanding the lightning-quick volume of kicks and elbows that were thrown his way, while Sasuke was hard at work countering and dodging the heavy-handed punches and knees the towering blonde threw at him with great force. The intense exchange ended once Sasuke, after narrowly dodging a knee to his liver, jumped up and landed a hard axe kick to Naruto's skull that came close to making him bowl over like a glass of water ready to tip over on an uneven table. Yet it was when he tried to follow through with a sidekick to Naruto's neck did the Ultimatrix wielder strike, grabbing Sasuke's leg and tackling him to the ground. Wherein Naruto quickly forced Sasuke into a modified kneebar, the Uchiha having tried to get his captured leg out of the hold, yet every time he tried to do so Naruto would tighten the hold with the threat of dislocating it, so after realizing that trying to escape Naruto's death grip was like trying to untangle a barbed wire-covered bear trap bare-handed, Sasuke wisely tapped out to avoid having his legs snap him half like beef jerky. "I gotta say, Sasuke, that was a pretty fun sparring match," Naruto said with a broad smile. "You know I would have had you if you didn't get in that hold," Sasuke shot back. "Hey, it's not my fault you have a shitty takedown defense, that and I'm really good at grappling, and just outright stronger than you to boot," Naruto retorted with a cheeky grin. "One of these days, Naruto, I'm going to literally kick the crap out of you," Sasuke swore with a slight smirk. "You can definitely try. Either way, I'll knock you out or slam your sorry butt back into the dirt," Naruto replied with a grin of his own. "If you two are done beating each other up, I brought out lemonade for the two of you," came the all-too-familiar voice of Izumi Uchiha. "Hey, Izumi," Naruto greeted, "sorry if we bothered you, things happened to get a bit out of hand." Sasuke spoke to his brother's wife. "If the bruises and bloody noses you two have are anything to go by, I will certainly take your word for it," Izumi replied as the two stumbled a bit to rise to their feet after their intense spar. "So what can we do for you, and Itachi Jr.?" Naruto said, weeing the blood off his face while Sasuke grabbed the glasses of lemonade for them. "If either of you can speed up this pregnancy, that would be fantastic." Izumi groaned as she felt like she was doing squats with Might Guy sometimes from how sore she was at times. "Unfortunately, I can't do that for you, Izumi. I don't have time control powers on me, and I'm pretty sure Sasuke doesn't either," Naruto told her before taking a drink. "Although, if I do get a hold of a transformation that has time powers, then I'm gonna abuse the crap out of it," Naruto added to himself. "My Sharingan doesn't have any of those capabilities, so you are on your own, Izumi," Sasuke said. "There goes that plan. I will say this right now, being 5 months pregnant isn't as easy as everyone makes it looks. I would give my right kidney for this to end already," Izumi replied in wishing she could do without the cramps and aches that came with carrying Itachi's child. "Where's Itachi, then? You would think my brother would be here to help you," Sasuke inquired as to the whereabouts of his elder brother. "He's on another mission. Apparently, it was urgent from what Shisui told me," Izumi spoke, earning an eye roll from the younger Uchiha. "Of course it's urgent, anything that involves the village is urgent. Yet when it comes to the clan, then we might as well be chopped liver," Sasuke spat. "Sasuke, your brother is an Anbu captain. We can't really blame him for being so busy. He has responsibilities to take care of," Izumi responded in defense of the stoic Uchiha. "He also has responsibilities to his family, and moreover his wife and my unborn nephew, which if you ask me are a lot more important than going on missions all the time," Sasuke sharply shot back. "It isn't fair to you, or to my soon-to-be nephew, that he isn't here as much as he should be," Sasuke added, infuriated that it was always missions and Konoha before his family. Sasuke. I wish he could be here more often as well. But, I can't just ask him to choose between being a Konoha shinobi and his family. It isn't fair to him, when he has done nothing but good for the village, and our clan. Izumi said, although the younger Uchiha's words hit far harder than what she was showing. But nothing. While I understand that my brother is Anbu captain and soldier of the village, he should be here for the family he chose to start with you. The clan and everyone within it should come first, before a pile of rocks and mortar. Sasuke stonily replied. Since you two are doing well, I'll leave out the lemonade for you two. Excuse me, I need to be alone for a while. Izumi told the two before returning to her home. Don't you think that was a little bit harsh, Sasuke? Naruto asked. It's what needed to be said. My brother makes all the time in the world for the village. Yet when it comes to his own clan, and his family, then you can forget about it, as we might as well be secondary or even tertiary thought in his mind. Sasuke bitterly answered. Still, man. You could have worded that stuff a bit more nicely. She's already got it bad enough, with her kid being here in a couple of months. I don't think she needs to be reminded of Itachi being a workaholic who's hardly here as is. Naruto replied, knowing that Izumi had enough on her plate. I know, Naruto. I'm just worried for her and my nephew. I want my brother to be involved in their lives, and be a good father to them. Not always on missions and gallivanting about, because the higher-ups in the village told him to. Sasuke haughtily said back in hating how his brother wouldn't dedicate at least some measure of time more to his pregnant wife. It won't be all bad. I mean, they've got your folks, Shisui, Uncle Obito, and the whole Uchiha clan to support him. So I got a pretty good feeling everything's going to be fine. Naruto said, knowing that if Itachi wasn't going to be around, then the Uchihas would. I know, but still, Naruto, it's just the principle of it all that infuriates me. Sasuke spat in anger. Look, man. Everything is gonna be fine. Besides, if Itachi doesn't fly straight when he becomes a dad, then I'm sure that everyone in the clan will set him straight. Because I seriously doubt they're gonna let him be a deadbeat dad. Naruto replied with a reassuring smile. I honestly hope so. Because if he doesn't, then I will personally go to the Anbu headquarters and raise hell myself. Sasuke swore to the Ultimatrix wielder. You mean that we will raise hell? Because remember, Sasuke, your bullshit is my bullshit, and my bullshit is your bullshit. Naruto said as Sasuke's smirk widened into a grin. Right until the end. Sasuke replied as Naruto raised a fist. You know it, my guy. And together we're gonna take on the whole damn world. Naruto said back as the two fists bumped each other before they took a gulp of their lemonade. Hopefully, Itachi straightens out and gets it together with his kid and Izumi. Otherwise it's gonna be hell in a handbasket in the Uchiha clan. Naruto remarked to himself as the two just sat with each other enjoying each other's company and some lemonade. Chapter end. Thank you for watching.